Hello, my name is Blake Sterling. This is lesson will be on exponents for my Math 3 class. So first, what we have here is what are exponents exactly? And exponents are simply just repeated multiplication, and we'll get more into that here as we go. What are the different parts of an exponent? So this is what we have here. We have 4 to the third power. The 4 is our base in this. The 3 is considered our exponent, and the whole thing is considered a power. We call them powers or exponents, but the 4 and the 3 together make up the power. And what this means is, like I said, it's repeated multiplication. So you take your base is the number 4 here. That is the number that's going to be multiplied over and over again. And the 3, which is our exponent, the exponent tells us how many times to multiply that number over and over again. So 4 to the third power would be 4 times 4 times 4, which our answer would be 64. Okay, and now there are different forms. There are 3 different types of forms. There's exponential form. That would be, from our last example, exponential form is expanding it out, and that would have been 4 times 4 times 4. Or excuse me, exponential form would have been the beginning, the first example, 4 to the third power. Expanded form is expanding that out, so that would have been 4 times 4 times 4. And then the evaluated form is just our value or our answer, which was 64. Now there are different rules. I'm not going to get too deeply into these different rules, but when dealing with exponents, depending on what type of exponent you may have, there are rules you can use to simplify them down. So the zero exponent rule, for example, is if you have any number to the 0 power, so if your exponent is 0, then your answer is, no matter what, 1. No matter what the number is, if it is to the 0 power, your answer is 1. Then there is the power rule, which is an exponent to a power, and then it is in parentheses, and then outside the parentheses it is raised to another power. So you would multiply the 2 exponents there to simplify that. You have negative exponent rule. If you have a number to a negative exponent, you have to flip the fraction to make that exponent positive. Then you have the product and the quotient rule. The product rule is if you have the same base with 2 different powers, you have 2 different powers being multiplied together, and they both have the same base, you can just add their exponents together to make 1 power. And same for the quotient rule, but the quotient rule, if you have the same base and 2 powers are being divided, you can subtract the exponents. Last, here we have some exponent examples. The first one is just a normal power that we looked at the beginning, 2 to the third power. Then we would have a negative exponent in the second example, and that is when we would use the negative exponent rule. And then the last example is kind of a power rule. You have a number in parentheses and a power on the outside of that parentheses, so you need to bring that power into both the top and the bottom number of the fraction. This is my lesson on exponents.